Hi, I'm Steve Thompson, president of Emery Thompson Machine.
I'm Christy Brown, vice president of sales and marketing.
And welcome to Questions Answered for this week. Christy, why don't you start off?
Okay. I think I've gone over this quite a few times, just not in the same format of a question. So how do you know you've got your formula down? So whenever I make a new flavor or a recipe, I always have a notebook handy. I have it right next to me, and I always know the bottom, how do I say that right? The minimum you're supposed to put in, and then especially when you're working with Italian ice. So a CB350, 4 quarts of mix, 2 pounds of sugar, and then the rest of it is your fresh ingredients. So I always know that's my start off point. So that's a big thing a lot of customers ask, and I think I go over this every time. It's so simple. 4 quarts of mix or 4 quarts of water, and then your 2 pounds of sugar, and then your fruits or your juices or whatever else, your rice base that you're going to use. So once you make that first batch, you're going to know right away if you need to add a little more of this or take a little less of that out. With the CB350, you have, a half a quart of wiggle room, so you can drop it down to 3.5 quarts of water if you want to add in a whole mess of fruits, or if you want to add in more rice because it needs more flavor. So if you start out with 4 quarts of water, and then you add the 2 pounds of sugar and a little bit of fruit, and you go, oh, I need more fruit, but you've already put a lot into the machine. We'll drop that down to 3.5 quarts of water, and then you can still leave your fruit because that's going to bring up your sweet taste to it because you're dropping the water and still leaving the same fruit, but you're taking away the water part to it. Does that make sense? It does in my head.
For a transcript of this question, please write to Christy@emerythompson.com.
I got it. It made sense up here. Or in the CB200, and write it down. Just write it down. I get asked this question so many times, and I'm like, I'm going to go over it again. And then I do, and then we get asked it again, and then I'm going to go over it again.
We do have, 511?
We do.
We have 511 how to make videos.
But we still get asked that same question.
But you can get the recipes right there, too, embedded in the video. Let's see. I'll see if I can make mine a little simpler. William writes, I'm purchasing a 2014 model CB350 that's been in storage for 6 years. What would you consider a fair price for the unit? Well, I have a little concern on that, but only a small one. Why would anybody who owns a valuable Emery Thompson batch freezer put it in storage for 6 years? It's not going to get any more valuable. It's not a diamond, though it's close. But that's the only problem I have with that. Otherwise, price, you'll have to ask around and see what others are going for, but there aren't very many on the used market. Here's some things I would do. Don't buy it sight unseen. You've got to go pick it up. Don't have them ship it to you. Shipping is horribly expensive right now because of diesel fuel, and you don't want to get involved in that. Drive the distance, go see it, and you, the owner who's selling it, I think it's only fair that you make one batch of something with it. Now, after 6 years, you're not going to have dairy blend available, but as Christy was saying, 4 quarts of water and 2 pounds of sugar is going to duplicate lemon ice without the lemon in it. So you could make that and run the machine for them. That way, you're both satisfied that the machine works, and it's good to put in your car and take back with you. If you do put it in your vehicle, do not lie it down. Leave it upright. It'll hurt the compressor. This is true of any refrigeration equipment. Don't lie them down. And lastly, the machine's got a serial number on it. If you have any questions, you can call Christy or me. You can email us, and we'll look up the serial number of the machine and verify that it's the age that it is. But our machines last so long, I really don't see a problem with picking up a used one, unless it's getting up there, 30, 40, 50 years. That doesn't make sense when it's the key to your business.
Maybe they kept it for those 6 years because it is an Emery Thompson. I don't want to get rid of it. That's mine.
That's true. Yeah, people get very sentimental towards them.
Yeah.
Some people even name them.
Exactly. Emery. My next one is, do I have to take my CB200 door apart every single time I need to wash it? Yes and no. So all of the doors for the 200 and the 350, even the 24 quart and 4 quart, if you really wanted to, I'd advise not, are dishwasher safe. So as you all know, I have the 200 at home, and I just disassemble the door. I just take it off like this, and the dasher springs and the bushing, and I just throw this all in my dishwasher just like that, with the gate open about halfway, and it comes out nice and squeaky clean. Now, every county, state, city is different. Always go by what your health department advises as far as your sanitation. I would suggest, maybe once a week at least, to take this all apart. This is the guard, and then you'll see the gate in there once you take that off, which you all know, and then disassemble it. If you struggle to put it back together, I do have a video that you can watch on how to put the gate handle back on. It's very easy to watch and follow through with it, and of course, we're always here with any questions you have.
And don't forget to floss after every brushing.
Yes, that too.
I have one here. It says, when we make sorbet, we put it in the freezer overnight before we put it in the dipping cabinet. We don't sell a lot of sorbet just yet, so it takes a week or so to sell a batch. The question is, what can we do to keep it from freezing so hard? We have to scrape it and almost chisel it out of the tub, and it just doesn't look good in the cup to have a lot of little pieces. And also thank you for referring us to Meadow Vale. We received a pallet of 16% clean label last week and are loving it, along with the great customer service. On the Italian ice, you're going to freeze it down to a rock-solid consistency after you make it. That's how you store the product. But then you become very weather dependent. You look at the weather tomorrow and the next couple of days, and you say, well, it's going to be sunny and bright and warm. We're going to go through 3 or 4 tubs of lemon ice. Move them to a warmer temperature. The scooping temperature that you should scoop Italian ice at is plus 16 degrees Fahrenheit. So use a separate freezer that is set at that temperature. Move what you think you're going to use over to that cabinet, and you'll do very well. If you're doing small quantities, we've talked about this before, instead of the large tubs, if your business is just getting going, you could use these gelato pan inserts, which are exactly the same amount that the CB350 makes. You might get an extra pint out of the CB350. But they're inexpensive, made by gelatosupply.com. That's Gelato supply.com. If you use the coupon code Emery Thompson, I believe they're going to give you a 10% discount. So that's a nice way to do it. Smaller quantity, easier to work with. If you're just getting the business going later on, you're going to get back into the 3-gallon tubs.
My last one is why is my ice cream soupy in the dipping cabinet? So it's the opposite of your question. What is your cabinet set at? A lot of, people that are just starting out, they think that they can put the ices and the ice cream in the same cabinet, and you can't. Your ice's scooping temp is about 16 degrees and your ice cream is about 6. So that I have found with a few customers is they're putting both of them together. Well, that's why your ice cream is a little soupy. 6 degrees is about the preferred. Now, if you have a high sugar content like a chocolate, or you're adding chocolate and Nutella to it, anything that's very high sugar is always going to be softer to scoop. And of course your alcohol. So if you have very high alcohol, what is my problem today? So, alcohol content.
Maybe it's the alcohol.
Then you can have a small little chest freezer off to the side just for your high sugar content ones, to where you can have it a little bit colder than your traditional, your mint chips and your vanillas if you have to.
Because we're running out of time, so next week we're going to address this question. If you have questions, write to us, Steve at EmeryThompson.com, Christy at EmeryThompson.com. Don't forget to sign up with us at EmeryThompson.com so that you can get every Monday our Flavor of the Week video, and every Wednesday you'll get this broadcast. So we have a lot of information for you. We both work for free. Yes, we do sell machines.
I don't work for free.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
I get
Well, I work for free. The government takes all mine. So anyway, we'll talk to you next week, and we'll finish this one up. It's very important.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
I don't know about this one. I think this one was a hot mess.
Oh, it was good.
All right.